How can I break up this long line in Python? How would you go about formatting a long line such as this? I'd like to get it to no more than 80 characters wide. Is this my best option?
That's a start. It's not a bad practice to define your longer strings outside of the code that uses them. It's a way to separate data and behavior. Your first option is to join string literals together implicitly by making them adjacent to one another. Or with line-ending continuations, which is a little more fragile, as this works. But this doesn't. See the difference? No? Well, you won't when it's your code either. There's a space after, in the second example. The downside to implicit joining is that it only works with string literals, not with strings taken from variables, so things can get a little more hairy when you refactor. Also, you can only interpolate formatting on the combined string as a whole. Alternatively, you can join explicitly using the concatenation operator, plus. Explicit is better than implicit, as the Zen of Python says, but this creates 3 strings instead of 1, and uses twice as much memory. There are the 2 you have written, plus 1 which is the 2 of them joined together, so you have to know when to ignore the Zen. The upside is you can apply formatting to any of the substrings separately on each line, or to the whole lot from outside the parentheses. Finally, you can use triple quoted strings. This is often my favorite, though its behavior is slightly different as the new line and any leading whitespace on subsequent lines will show up in your final string. You can eliminate the new line with an escaping backslash. This has the same problem as the same technique above, in that correct code only differs from incorrect code by invisible whitespace. Which one is best depends on your particular situation, but the answer is not simply aesthetic, but one of subtly different behaviors.
Consecutive string literals are joined by the compiler, and parenthesized expressions are considered to be a single line of code.
Personally, I dislike hanging open blocks, so I'd format it as. In general, I wouldn't bother struggle too hard to make code fit exactly within an 80-column line. It's worth keeping line length down to reasonable levels, but the hard 80 limit is a thing of the past.
You can use textwrap module to break it in multiple lines. Aptdef Alclano. From the documentation. Textwrap.wrap text, width, wraps the single paragraph in text, a string, so every line is at most width characters long. Returns a list of output lines, without final new lines. Optional keyword arguments correspond to the instance attributes of textwrapper, documented below. Width defaults to 70. See the textwrapper.wrap method for additional details on how wrap behaves.
If you want to see more, please consider subscribing.